For the next hour, the green and gold are in charge. Welcome to In The Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. Now, here's Bill Scott and Green Bay offensive lineman T.J. Lang.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the fifth quarter in Little Chute after the Packers knock off the Lions 28-26 on Sunday. And I got to be honest with you, Mr. Lang, that I was a little shocked that that game was as close as it was. And probably, one of the things is Detroit is actually not a bad football team. I mean, they're by far the best 0-4 football team in the league.
Oh, absolutely. And they should be. The last 10 years they've had, top 5 pick in the draft. So they've got a lot of first-rounders on their team. They got a lot of talent. And, like I said last week, we knew it was going to be a challenge. They're definitely an improved team. I think they showed that yesterday. And, the rest of their 4 games they played this year. And they're a tough opponent. We got them another time this year. And, it was a tough game, and we knew that going in, but we're just happy to get away with the win.
Matthew Stafford, they're playing without him, and I really didn't know that they would get that much from Hill, but he played well.
He did, and he had played well, ever since Stafford got hurt. So he's a guy he's an experienced guy. He's been around the league for a while, and he made some plays yesterday for him that kept him in the game.
Packers got some bad news today on the injury front. Morgan Burnett is at this point out for the season with a torn ACL, maybe getting a second opinion, but the Packers said they're, at least as of earlier today, going to put him on IR and then have to make a roster move. And, it's a couple things. One, a young player that in his rookie season stepped right in and started. He was in there from OTAs and mini camps and really making an impression on the Green Bay Packers. And you could just see him getting better, each and every day he took the field.
Yeah, and I think Morgan, he from the day he stepped on the field, he kind of showed that the game wasn't too big for him. He was out there making plays. He was being vocal, being at the safety position back there. You got to kind of direct the defense, and he was doing a great job of that. So, it's going to be a big loss for us. He was making plays, and he's a physical guy. He's a big guy back in the secondary, and it's going to be a loss for us, and we're just going to need somebody else to step up and fill his shoes.
Yeah, the tough thing for a young player, especially the younger you are, because you don't have any experience in this area, is that you go down with the injury, and prior to, you're a big part of the game plan, you're a big part of the meeting room, and when they're looking at film, they're pointing things out that you've done or need to do or need to improve on, and you'll still, from time to time, be in that meeting room as a player that is out for the year, but they're certainly not going to be calling your name anymore. It's like it's kind of you go into the world of darkness just like that.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing he can do is, step up, and whoever comes to fill his shoes, give him some pointers and help him out, and try to be a leader in a different way.
Well, Derek Martin filled in this last Sunday for Burnett when he went out, and Charlie Pepra, also a candidate to take over, and he could be back from his hip injury or thigh injury that he's had for the last couple of weeks. Packers, there's not a long period of time where Atari Bigby could be a player that comes back. He'll be eligible after 2 games from now and just before the Viking game. Although he's been out since last year, the ankle problems and all that kind of thing. So to think that he might be able to step in and in 1 week's time kind of get football shape, football ready, that might be a little bit of a reach too.
Yeah, it'll be tough. Atari's a guy that, he's been around for a while, and he's started a lot of games for us, so he knows what it takes to go out there and be competitive and win games for us. So I think that's another important part, is getting him back and getting him healthy, and hopefully he can get into shape pretty quick, and we're going to need him on the field here in the stretch.
All right, when you saw the game yesterday and then you saw the statistics at the end, did you think they were as lopsided as what you were watching?
No, we knew that. I knew that Detroit controlled the ball, almost the whole entire second half. And, Sean Hill definitely stepped up and made a lot of plays, especially on third down. We put him in situations where we had a chance to get off the field as a defense, and he was making plays out there. And, I can't say it enough. That's an improved team. I know everybody thinks it's the Detroit Lions, that it should be an easy win, but there's no easy wins in the NFL. Every one you got to work hard for, and we were definitely grinding out there, and they were a challenge. So they they've kind of changed their team identity, and they're becoming a pretty good team. So
yeah. The two big stats: 15-minute plus advantage for the Lions in time of possession, and the total number of offensive plays 75 to 38 between pass and run plays. Those two stats really tell the difference. Then when you look, the byproduct to that is the total yards, 454 to 273. It's going to be like that if you have that many more plays. So that was not a real shocker. Yet, you know what? In the end, the win is all that matters. And wins are hard to come by in the National Football League. And you'll try them, and there are problems out there. You guys will, go to work and watch the film and try to fix all those things and get ready for your next opponent. But in the end, it would have been doubly tough if you'd have lost the football game.
Yeah, absolutely. And, sometimes you got to scratch and claw for the victory. And, I think our team, especially the offense, that last drive, we got the ball with, I think, 6.5 minutes left to go. And the game was on the line. If we didn't score, the Lions had a lot of momentum in their way. Or if we didn't get, run the timeout, they had a lot of momentum going their way. And the guys stepped up, and, we got a couple first downs. And anytime you end the game taking a knee, that's a good feeling. So they definitely showed a lot of character, stepping up when the game was on the line and going out there and finishing the game.
Yeah, how'd that offensive line feel about that?
We felt pretty good today. Watching the film, I think we feel like we had our 5 starters played. They played pretty well. Obviously the biggest stat that stuck out to me yesterday was the number of plays we ran. 38. I think we like to get up around 65, 70, kind of wear the guys out a little bit. But they played a good game, and that last drive shows a lot about who they are and the character of the guys that stepped up and they were making blocks. And John Kuhn was running the ball as hard as he has all year, and got a couple big first downs for us, and we were able to close the game out.
Well, the jury is still out on the running game, but when you finish the way you finished, that's what you're trying to do. That's when it's difficult to do it, because they've got to make the stops and get the ball back, and they couldn't get the stops. One thing I was a little surprised they didn't do, and maybe, it's a horse apiece. If you load the box, then the Packers could throw the football, but the Packers are trying to run. They want to work the clock, and yet they stayed back with their defense in the secondary and didn't really come up and play the run very much. So that was a little surprising, but the Packers come up with a big victory, 28-26, to go to 3-1 after 4 games so far this season. We'll continue with more yesterday's victory over the Lions, and we'll welcome our guest to the show coming up in just a couple of minutes. Back to meet tonight's guest. This is In the Huddle from the 5th quarter in Little Chute. More after this on the Woodward Radio Network.